So just quickly gonna show you how I transfer images to Word. All you need is a laser printed image, just on a normal laser printer. Reverse your image. I usually play around with the contrast and bring out the shadows, etc., just to kind of make it pop a bit more, add some more saturation. I usually use a word processor, either LibreOffice or Word or whatever, because you can format the pictures on a page using as much of the page as possible to print out multiple images, and with that you can resize to the exact measurement that you want through the drawing tools. So for this I picked 9.5 centimeters for the height, so that it fits onto your block of wood or whatever it may be. So just as another tip, the softer the wood, the quicker the transfer is going to take, as the wood's more porous and it'll just draw the varnish in more. So through all the other tutorials I've seen, I usually find that they use Mod Podge or Gel Matte Medium, which is quite expensive. They usually say to slather on loads, leave it to dry for 24 hours, and then remove the image, which I'll show you, remove the paper, which I'll show you in a moment. I just use Trade Interior Varnish from Screwfix. It's a water-based varnish. It's really cheap. It's £8 for 700 mil. Wilco do one as well. Theirs is pretty good, but any cheap water-based one works really well. You can do it with PVA, but I found this again works the best. So what I'll do is I'll quickly grab my brush. Now, in all of the tutorials I've seen, they say they're quite liberal with the amount of varnish or matte medium or whatever they're using. Now I literally just use a really light layer to cover the area that we're going to transfer to. Now this piece of wood is just a old it's just a pallet plank which I've just quickly chopped up and sanded down. This was one that I had for quite a while. I actually burnt the back of this just because it gives quite a nice effect, but I'm going to use this. So it's just a light layer that you can barely see it. You can just almost touch it. Feel it there. So there's really not that much that you use at all. So then you take the image, flip it around. Again, you're going to do it face down, and then place the image where you want it, and then just squeeze it in. Now initially I just draw all the varnish from the outside in. If you put too much on, it's going to tear the paper as you smooth it out. Now what I use to smooth it out the best is these sandwich bags from your local supermarket. They work really well. You can scrunch it up into a ball, and then I hold the bottom there so it doesn't slide around, and then just lightly but firmly smooth out all the varnish so that it draws out the sides. And keep doing that. I mean, once it's in there, I then am able to go over it quite hard with quite a bit of pressure, just so that you don't have to sand your piece of wood properly. So it then goes in within all the grooves and the grain there. I find not sanding it down adds a bit more character. Not sanding it down like perfectly adds more character. But if you were to use a smoother surface, a smoother bit of wood, you can normally get a perfect transfer. But again, not all transfers come out perfect, although I can do it. But the less is more effect. Looks really good. So again, just squeeze this all out. Now you can use rollers. You can use, some people I've seen use cards or other items to kind of just squeeze. I find this is best because once you scrunch up the bag, it'll go in through all the grooves. So you just squeeze it down, and you want to make sure you work the edges as well. And then, yeah, they say it takes like 24 hours. Like, I literally, look, this is going to be as quick as this video. So just squeeze it in, and then what you can find is that it always just getting that a bit moist on the edge. So then you can kind of pick out this first layer. You're not taking off all the paper, you're just taking off a bit like that. So there we are. And then, so that allows you to see how dry it is underneath. So that's come out a bit there. What I would do is I'll quickly just go underneath there, add a bit more, just a light bit, maybe a little touch more, that's fine. Smooth that in. And go over it, yeah, so then you can continue just peeling. Sometimes it's quite nice, it'll come off all at once in like a massive sheet. So you know, you can go as big as your printer will allow. Even if you did want to do bigger images, I've kind of patched them together. It can leave, if you're not going to do it perfectly, it can leave the image a bit kind of, you can see where you've kind of patched it up, but obviously I've been able to do that with pretty much perfect results because I've been doing this for bloody ages. But I'll smooth it in more again, just take all this off. So that, I'm confident that that's pretty much there. I'm going to dry this, let's smooth this more down, smooth this down as much as possible. And then I'm confident that this is going to work. I want to leave it for a minute or two. I'm going to pause the video, and then you can also get a hairdryer and dry it off, but it's not really necessary. It's a bit of a waste of electricity, whatever, because literally, actually, I want to start going. So you can damp your finger with a bit of water, just a tiny bit, just like it's just a little bit there, and then I'm confident that this is all. And and I find fingers work best because you can feel where all the little furry bits are. So when you're removing the paper, you can use different techniques. I just find I see like a bit's come off there, but again, that adds character. It's come off there a bit, but now in your first attempt, I would maybe try using a bit more varnish than I maybe used, and allowing it to dry a bit longer, and then then damping it. You don't need to get it too wet, just a little bit to get off. Like sometimes you don't even need to wet it at all. Again, if that starts peeling like that, I'm just going to get another, give it, let myself down here, but it's okay. I prefer not. You can let it dry for longer and then wet it quite a lot and then go at it. But as it starts drying, you'll see that loads of other furry bits which you haven't removed will show up. But if you use your fingers, you can feel over that. Again, just wet it a bit more. Dab that bit. So yeah, online, all the tutorials I've seen say leave it. I think I've seen someone say leave it for a few hours, but as you can see, You don't have to at all, and that's come out loads. Now, what I'll do is just keep removing that, and then I'll add another light layer of varnish, like so. You may get it first time as well as you can, like this, but it's going to take a few attempts. It took me ages because I didn't really look at many tutorials. I kind of found this process out about 10 years ago or so. I only started doing it about 2.5 years ago, and it really held my interest. I think it's got loads of use, so I've used it to make signs, to menus, to embellishing furniture, all sorts. It's really a good process. But then, yep, I'm happy with that. Happy with all the bits come off there pretty much. Might want to get a pin or something, or sometimes you can use a light brush to get into the grooves. Just remove the paper. May as well try and remove as much as you can. You can really remove it all. I'm just going to damp my fingers again, get it all over, and then just, there we are. So then all you need to do is again just apply another layer of varnish. That's going to make it pop more. So again, just a light layer. I'd give it a couple of layers. I want to show you one. Probably can't tell too much from the video. I haven't actually chosen the best lighting. But I am happy with that. What I can do, if I'm doing loads, again, this is for tutorial, but maybe use, it's a good idea to use not too light, because you want it to absorb properly. Use maybe a little bit more at first, and then smooth it down, do another one, smooth it down. By the time you've done that or another few, you can come over the first one to have dried, and then you can start removing the paper. But take my word for it, that will that's popping more now, and there you have it. So simple palette coaster in 12 minutes rather than 24 hours.